Hey, what's going on, guys? It's the Lego Mandalorian here, and if you've been around my channel for as long as this channel has been around, you should know that I am a huge Star Wars fan, and the fact that my channel is called, well, the Lego Mandalorian. So, of course, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. So, as you all know, there are about 10 Star Wars movies out there, and some of them I like more than others. Some of them I hate more than others. So, anyway, today I'm going to put a list of my top 10 favorite Star Wars movies ranked from worst to first. Now, just to tell you, I have not seen Solo, a Star Wars story, though, so that's up to you to decide, like, where you'd put it on your own list. So technically, I'm only doing 9 Star Wars movies. The 2 Star Wars movies, like the new trilogy, the prequels, the originals, and Rogue One. Coming in at last place is, well, The Last Jedi. So, anyway, I could go on how horrible the new characters are, or how, like, the story was just going everywhere, or how they mishandled Luke Skywalker, but anyway, there are more than enough people on YouTube, and just the internet in general, who have ranted about this movie, so I'm not going to turn this video into a Last Jedi rant, but I'll just say, yeah, I do agree with them that this movie just does not make sense. I do not like any of the new characters. I hate how they handled Luke. If you saw my top 10 Star Wars characters video, yeah, Luke is my favorite character, so it was really disappointing to see what they did with Luke. But anyway, let's move on to the next one. So coming in next is The Force Awakens. Now, I know a lot of people really thought that the new trilogy was off to a good start with this movie, but honestly, I really did not enjoy this movie, okay? I mean, yeah, mainly because Han Solo died, there is that, but also there's the fact that, like, when I was watching this movie in theaters, like, it just, like, I was feeling the time going by, and that's not really something that you want to feel when you're, watching a movie. Like, I really couldn't get invested in the story or the new characters, and yeah, like a lot of people said, the story itself is just a ripoff of A New Hope. The new characters are just bland, but yeah, I'm not gonna rant about the new trilogy too much, but, yeah, I'm just not a big fan of The Force Awakens. So, coming in at number 7, we have Revenge of the Sith. Now, I know a lot of people really like this movie, you know, for being, you know, one of the darkest, Star Wars movies, and I mean, yeah, I can get why they like it because of that, but, I've actually only seen the movie once. I mean, I've seen clips of it, like, over the years, but, not exactly a movie I'd want to see, like, a second time. I mean, yeah, there is the fact that it is definitely a dark Star Wars movie, but, yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's just, I'm not really a huge fan of this movie. I mean, I do like how it did, turn, like, the prequel trilogy into the original trilogy, but, yeah, there's not really much else to say about this movie. It's fine, but not really a movie I'd rewatch. Coming in at number 6 is Attack of the Clones. Now, I know this might be a bit of an unpopular opinion. A lot of people might have put it a bit lower, but I honestly think this movie's fine, but I will acknowledge that it does have flaws. So, like, Anakin in this movie just was, yeah, he was just unwatchable. I remember when I used to watch this movie, I just skip every scene with Anakin in it, but, like, Obi-Wan, like, honestly, like, that, he was the best part about this movie, and, like, the fight scenes in this movie were really good, were really fun to watch. I loved the scene with all those Jedi, even though most of them didn't survive. I think it was just really cool to see an army of Jedi fighting, battle droids and other creatures, and, we actually did get to see Yoda fight with a lightsaber, which I thought was awesome. I mean, even though, it ended in a draw, it was still a really cool movie, but just, yeah, Anakin kind of ruined it for me, so that's just what I think of Attack of the Clones. So, coming in at number 5, we have The Phantom Menace. Now, I know a lot of people won't agree with me on this one, but honestly, I think The Phantom Menace is a decent movie. I mean, sure, it doesn't, like, a lot of people might not think it's a very good Star Wars movie, but I think, like, as a movie in general, it's still a solid movie. But also, I do think it still works as a Star Wars movie. there are a lot of things I like about this movie. The pod racing scene was really cool. The ending is honestly, yeah, that's the best part of the movie. Darth Maul is by far my favorite character in this movie. Duel of the Fates, that is one of the best Star Wars soundtracks of all time. Even prequel haters will admit it. The fight with Darth Maul was great, and I know this is a bit of an unpopular opinion. Well, it is an unpopular opinion, but I do not think that Jar Jar Binks is a bad character. I mean, I know he's not funny, but he's not terrible either. But anyway, like, you might think that I'm gonna talk to you about how he's secretly a Sith Lord, but no, I think that's just kind of more of a fan thing. I don't want it to be canon. But anyway, Jar Jar Binks is not a bad character, so we're gonna move on to number 4 now. So coming in at number 4, we have Rogue One. Now, a lot of people would put this a bit lower, but honestly, I really enjoyed this movie. I think it's the only decent movie to come out of Disney, well, Disney's Star Wars. But I will admit that there are flaws here and there. Not all the characters are very memorable, but there are some new characters from this movie that I honestly really enjoyed. Like, K2SO was actually funny. He's kind of like Jar Jar Binks done right. And yeah, his humor just feels a bit more natural than forced. Chirrut Îmwe, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. I found he's a pretty interesting character. Everyone else was just mediocre. They weren't terrible. Director Krennic was pretty cool, but he wasn't amazing. The story itself, I could still follow it. And also, one thing I really liked about this movie, that it actually had fan service. The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi basically used Han Solo and Luke as marketing campaigns and then just killed them off at the end of the movie. Whereas Rogue One, they actually had references to Star Wars Rebels. There was you could hear Hera Syndulla's name on one of the loudspeakers. There was a reference to the Darksaber. There was also something that no one actually expected that they wanted. But honestly, a lot of the fan base really actually enjoyed is we find out how Red 5 dies, the original Red 5. I think that was pretty cool. And then obviously we gotta talk about the ending. Darth Vader, okay, he stole the show at the ending. That was the best scene in all of Disney's Star Wars. It can even go up against possibly the original trilogy itself, because we actually see how Darth Vader is feared, why he's feared from the rebels. So obviously the original trilogy are these next 3. So coming in at number 3, we have Return of the Jedi. Now, the reason why I put this one at number 3, I still think this is a great movie. I love rewatching it, but I think the first half is a bit slow. I mean, it is fine, but I prefer watching the second half of the movie. The Jabba arc of this movie was just, like I said, it was a bit slow, but then once the crew meets up with the Rebel Alliance, takes out the second Death Star, meets the Ewoks, that was all great. Like I said, I love rewatching this movie, but I kind of prefer the other 2 that you guys have already guessed by now. So coming in at number 2, we have The Empire Strikes Back. Now this movie, like I said, I do love rewatching this movie. The AT-AT scene versus the Snowspeeders, that scene I love. And then the rest of the movie, it might seem slow, but I still really enjoy it. I love seeing all the scenes with Yoda training with Luke, Han and Leia, going to Cloud City, and then the big sea slug. It might seem slow, but I still find it interesting enough to not skip over or fall asleep in. So I really like that. We actually see Luke get to fight Darth Vader for the first time, at least in the movies. And then, of course, the most iconic scene in Star Wars and even movie history is the scene with Darth Vader and Luke, which you guys already know what I'm going to talk about. Luke, I am your father. Or technically, no, I am your father. That's actually how the scene plays out. Everyone thinks it's Luke, I am your father, but if you watch it, it is no, I am your father. So I just wanted to point that out for all of you guys that like to quote that scene. So you can check it out if you can just rewatch the movie. But anyway, let's go on to number 1. So coming in at number 1, you guys guessed it, A New Hope. Yep, I really love this movie. I don't know how to say it, but this movie, well, this is how Star Wars started, okay? Look, I got Star Wars here, Star Wars there, Star Wars here, but yeah, Star Wars here, but yeah, this movie, like, it changed cinema forever. Like, not only is it just an iconic movie, but it's a great movie in general. So I don't really know how to explain this, but yeah, I like everything about this movie. The characters, the story, the final battle. It's just I don't know. Like, yeah, of course, since I am the Lego Mandalorian, I love Star Wars, so this movie is my favorite movie of Star Wars itself. Now, not because it is the first one, but I still think it is just a great movie in general. It is just so iconic. Iconic scenes, iconic characters. Okay, I do not know how to describe it, but yes, I love A New Hope. Or you can call it just regular Star Wars. That's up to you. So anyway, let me know what you guys think of my list in the comment section below. Maybe you give me your own list. How would you rearrange it? Would you put Solo in this list? If so, where exactly would you put it? So, anyway, if you like this video, you can give it a like. If you want to see more of this kind of content, you can subscribe. And anyway, I'll see you guys next time.